Welcome to The Edge of Belief, the podcast that explores alternative faiths, cults, conspiracy theories, the supernatural and bizarre happenings worldwide. I'm one of your hosts, Ruby, and taking me on a guided tour is my co-host, Richard.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Edge of Belief.
Hello, welcome back.
Well, episode 5 now I think we're on, are we?
I think so. I was keeping a tally, but I'm not very good with maths and I forgot already.
Well, it's been longer than usual getting this one together because...
It has, but hopefully it'll be worth it.
Well, it's mainly because in the UK we have lockdown like just everyone else does really, but the weather's decided to be totally ironic, and normally where it's raining on a bank holiday, it's bright sunshine when you can't go out.
Yeah. And it's too hot to sit in a shed. I'm sorry.
Well, we've been told we're all in it together by the Queen.
Yeah.
In her castle.
Can I just put forth my thoughts on the monarchy?
Go on then, yeah.
Down with the monarchy. Fuck them.
Oh, that might be coming out. Thank you to Stuart because he kind of contributed to these new microphones. Really, that's why we sound so good this week.
We do. I'm really happy with how it's come out.
Yeah, I mean, we do sound a lot better. I mean, I don't sound so like I'm talking into a baked bean can, so...
Yay!
That's much better.
Thanks, Stuart.
Yeah. Well, this episode is about psychic mediums, I think they're called, that become entertainers.
Yeah.
And how they get there, really.
The journey.
And how they sell out hard.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. But first...
News.
It wouldn't be 2020 without a coronavirus story.
No.
Well, a couple of them, really.
Let's just whip through them quick.
Well, I don't know, this one's a bit different because normally the kind of batshit religious ones are American-based, shall we say. But this one comes from London itself.
Ooh, I'm interested.
Yeah, well, the headline is Camberwell Church selling £91, that's about $105-ish, coronavirus protection kits made of just oil and red string. According to Bishop Climate Ministries, part of the Kingdom Church on Camberwell Station Road, the product protects buyers from coronavirus.
How's it do that then?
Well, it says here, a post on the ministry website claims, it is by faith that you can be saved from the coronavirus pandemic by covering yourself in divine plague protection oil and wearing the scarlet yarn on your body.
That's fucking mental, isn't it?
Divine plague protection oil. That's a bit I like.
We need to go on Amazon tonight and order some oil, some red string.
Yeah, we can go.
And just go, this will protect you from I don't know,
yeah.
HIV or something. Something different.
Their website post continues. The Lord has instructed the self-declared prophet of the ministry, Climate Irungu Wiseman. Now that's a name, isn't it?
That's a made-up name.
What?
Last name.
A con man called Wiseman. Who would ever thought? To make the special oil.
Oh, that sounds wrong. How does he make this special oil?
Well, apparently it's made of cedarwood, hyssop, which I've never heard of.
That's a herb.
Prayer.
Yeah, and masturbation.
Well, I've put here a soup son of scam.
My brain went straight to the onerism.
The clam chowder. A following post on the same website by Mr. Wiseman, he's definitely not a con artist, dated March 25th, argues believers should pay up to £900 for this.
What, for a bit of bloody oil and red string?
Yeah, £900. I forgot. As here we go, sacrificial seeds amid the coronavirus outbreak.
What is this obsession with religious people talking about seeds and oil and...
I think it all kind of stems from this prosperity preacher ball bags that we covered with Paula, you know what I mean? Kind of, you plant the seed and by seed they mean money.
Yeah. Give us the money.
Give us your fucking money.
What, you got corona? Fuck you, pay me.
Well, we've got a second coronavirus kind of story, really, and this one's quite strange because it's still going on in America. So,
okay,
check this one out. The headline is: Engineer intentionally crashes train near hospital ship Mercy, believing in weird coronavirus conspiracy. Feds say.
So he intentionally crashed a train into a hospital ship because of some weird ball bags he's got in his head.
Yep. When he was driving his train through, this ship, the hospital ship Mercy, is in Los Angeles docks, I believe. And Eduardo Moreno was driving his train through there.
That's a cool name, Eduardo.
Yeah, it's not too bad. He was driving his train along and he thought, I see my opportunity here. So he floored it, thinking he'd drive the train into the ship.
For what reason, though?
Oh, we come on to that. But do you think he made it? Maybe he's got to drive the train off the tracks towards this ship.
I think maybe he didn't make it.
He was a quarter of a mile short.
Oh, bless him.
Kind of epic fail there, really. So
Did he just take some crack before he started driving the train that day?
Well, this is what he said to the arresting officer. You only get this chance once. The whole world is watching. And he added, I had to. People don't know what's going on here. Now they will.
I still don't know what's going on here.
Well, this is what's going on, right?
Okay.
Right. The conspiraloons have got two kind of theories about what this ship's doing. You know, it's not taking patients or anything like that. Well,
no, because why would it be doing that?
Well, the conspiraloons have two kind of theories about what the ship's actually doing.
Because they can't ever agree.
No. Well, the first one's a perennial, really. It's a FEMA concentration camp where they're all going to be rounded up and put on this huge ship and quarantined.
Right, standard.
Standard stuff, really. But this is my favourite one. It's some sort of Trojan horse.
But what's inside it then?
Well, it's filled with government troops who are going to take over the United States.
That is batshit.
Tyrannical government has got all these soldiers holed up on this Trojan horse ship, and as soon as the coronavirus really hits Los Angeles, they're going to whip out and take over the place.
That's just mental.
Yeah, and it turns out this, although he didn't harm anyone, just crashed his train, I think a bit of oil or fuel spilled out of it, and the fire brigade had to sort that shit out.
He could have killed himself as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would have thought about it. He's crashed into a bloody great concrete barrier and stuff,
If he'd have killed himself, he wouldn't have been able to get his message out. People would have gone, well, why has he done that? Don't know. Oh,
yeah, he's dead. Yeah.
So he really didn't think it through.
Well, he's still alive, thankfully. But it turns out he could get 20 years for this, loonage, basically.
Well, I wouldn't, I don't know. I think maybe he needs a bit of psychological help. But he ain't going to get that in America, in prison.
Possibly not, but I mean...
I doubt he'd even get it here, do you know what I mean?
Would you risk 2 decades inside to show the world a conspiracy theory?
But I also wouldn't try and drive a train into a ship either.
I know, it's just...
So,
Well,
I think me and Eduardo are very, very different people.
I think it comes down to the Alex Jones stuff we did, where certain people get this in their head and they can't get it out, and it spills over into real life where they do something mad. Well, thankfully this time he didn't hurt anyone, and it wasn't with a gun. So
and he didn't hurt himself either. So.
Yeah, so
what a knob, though. Let's be honest.
Well, our final news story, and yet again it's another coronavirus one, but
yeah, we can't help it, people.
I know.
You could help us by finding us stories, and you don't, so it's your own fault.
Well, he's back. He's back. Our favourite scam TV evangelist, Kenny Copeland.
Oh yeah, Kenneth.
The headline is Scamvangelist declares COVID-19 finished after commanding God to destroy it.
Oh right, well we can all stop worrying now then.
Well, what Kenny's done is he's bitch slapped God with a wad of money from his parishioners.
I was gonna say I take issue with commanding God. I mean, I don't believe in God, right?
He's that far up his own arsehole.
if you do believe in God, commanding him doesn't really go down very well.
I wouldn't have thought so.
You get on your knees and you beg him for shit. You don't go, right, God.
Oi. Fucking sort it.
Fucking sort this shit out.
This is what he actually said. This is mental.
Standing in the office of the prophet of God, I execute judgment on you, COVID-19.
Oh, Ramash.
I execute judgment on you, Satan, you destroyer, you killer. You get out, we break your power, you get off this nation. I demand judgment on you. I demand a vaccination to come immediately.
Yes.
So let's kind of go over that a bit, because it is
Yeah.
kind of. I
He
mean,
sounds demented.
but this is the bit that really kind of perplexes me, really, right? God can sort this shit out, he believes, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not going to do it by just, mutating COVID-19 into some kind of, less than deadly virus.
No.
He's going to use science to make a vaccine.
Yeah, you can't really make that up, can you?
Yeah, I mean, the all-present being who can do anything
Need
goes,
science.
well, I think I need a bit of science to sort this shit out.
But anyway, it's very arrogant to assume that God didn't intend to make COVID-19.
Well,
Surely if you believe in God and Satan and all that fucking lunacy, you must believe that everything that happens on earth is God's plan.
God's will. Yeah, I thought it was, wasn't it? But
So not only is he questioning God's plan, he's bitch slapping him round the face.
for doing it.
He's like questioning him whilst teabagging him.
Kenny Copeland teabags God until he gets him to make a vaccine.
Until he uses science to make a vaccine.
Oh,
I mean, he sounds demented because it fucking is demented. I don't know, or maybe too much crack before he went on stage.
Kenny doesn't take crack.
Of course he doesn't, no.
No, he's high on the Lord. That's what.
He's high on Jeebus.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back,
main topic.
Yeah, lost in mediumship. This episode's main section is about psychic mediums and how they become stage entertainers. And we have our first guest on the show.
Woohoo!
Yeah, direct from the spirit world. Yeah.
We do. Hello, Mr. Derek Akora.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
I know what some people might think. They might think, he only died in January. It's all a bit crass trying to bring him onto your show for a cheap laugh.
They have no sense of humour.
Well, what I say, it's no more crass than trying to guess which one of your audience members has just had a loved one die from cancer for money.
Well, yes, that is true. I just want to point out before we carry on, this is a kind of loving tribute to Derek. It's not meant.
We're big fans.
Yeah,
really.
we really enjoyed him as an entertainer, and so if you think it's crass, then this is the way the British do it. This is how we pay respect to people.
And take the piss.
by taking the piss. That is our ultimate form of,
Well, he's joining us here. So what can we expect from you, Desi?
You're going to get Derek Acor's full 110% energy in spiritual communication.
Cheers, Des.
Yeah, well, that's good to know.
I mean, we need you here, Derek. Yeah. We really do.
Yeah. I mean, up until I met my lovely wife, Ruby...
Hello.
My experience of psychic mediums was purely based on the TV famous ones. So you're talking, your air quotes, psychic Sally Morgan.
Yes.
Colin Fry. And, of course, our special guest, the undisputed king of psychic mediums.
Mr. Desi Akora.
I mean, if our American listeners, haven't heard of any of these, English mediums, just think of people like John Edward and the Long Island Medium, and you're there, really.
Do you think we'll have any American listeners?
I don't know, but we have to cater.
That's true. If we do ever get an American listener, let us know.
You really opened my eyes up to how the TV entertainers became famous in the first place, and how they probably started out. Yeah. And it's the reason why I'm doing this episode, really, because they don't kind of do all this at home. They come up through the spiritualist church of circuit, really. Yeah. I mean, I know you grew up with family members who visited spiritualist churches, and you did, I think, you as a kid.
Not as much when I was a young kid, but surely, certainly as a teenager and onwards, I've been to various.
Yeah, I mean, definitely as an adult, since I've known you, you've been going to, the local spiritualist church off and on, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, never the same one because I've moved around a little bit, but
yeah.
I've normally been to the one in the area that I've lived in, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been kind of, I'll be honest with you, a bit sceptical about the subject, but I've remained open-minded because, there's a part of it that still interests me in where, are there some people who can actually pull this off? You know what I mean? So, but, I
mean, I would say to that, there are some genuine people out there, but there's a lot of dreck.
It's the thing, you see. I mean, I think psychic mediums fall into 4 categories, and this is what I think those 4 categories are.
Okay.
So, yeah. I think there's people who've learnt to cold read but don't know they're doing it. Definitely.
I've met many people, not so many of the psychic mediums that are up in front of you because they've learned to finesse their art by then.
Yeah.
But the ones who are new to it, you can see the cogs turning.
They're almost like going by a playbook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? B, going through the points till they get.
You are encouraged to cold read, but they don't call it cold reading. They call it, if you're talking to the spirit world, that's clairvoyance or clairaudience or whatever. But if you're cold reading, you are, I think they call it psychic reading or something where you connect to the energies of the person. So they don't frame it as cold reading.
They don't frame it as cold reading.
And even the people teaching that may not see it as cold reading, but it is. In a way,
and it's like the second category, I think people who've learnt the cold reading trick know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They may think they have no psychic ability whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they justify doing what they do because they say it helps people, the grieving process.
And I have met people like that as well. But I would say the majority of people I've met do have good intentions.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, because I mean the people.
If you had 100 spiritualists, maybe one would be in that category for me.
Yeah.
But they are there.
Well, this comes to a third category really. Out and out hustlers who've basically learnt the tricks of doing this to make money.
No, I'd say that's the 1%. That one.
But it's the fourth category that keeps my mind open about the subject really, because there may be people who have some sort of gift to talk to the dead, or people in another dimension or level of consciousness. Something that's in real direct conflict with material science as we know it.
Yeah.
And that's what interests me.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that I'm an actual spiritualist, right? I wouldn't class myself as that. I'm open-minded. There's a lot of what I saw that was absolute bullshit. But there was a couple of things I saw that I just honestly didn't really know how to explain it.
Yeah, well, that kind of fourth category, it encapsulates a lot more kind of subjects which really I'm interested in. So, like the paranormal, kind of cultural phenomenons, and bordering on remote viewing to a point, and psychedelic experiences. What you may see as an afterlife once you've taken a shitload of love drugs.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in the UK, we have a kind of loose network of spiritualist churches. There's the SNU, isn't there?
That's the biggest kind of. It's like a franchise. You can be open under their name as long as you follow their rules. Yeah,
so you can't set up under their kind of.
But your local one won't be really run by anyone in the head office. It's run by the people.
As long as they follow
exactly
what they do. What I couldn't make out though is the spiritualist churches are they have their own theology, or they kind of incorporate Christianity as well. So
there's 2 types. There's Christian spiritualists, which I never was, but for example, people in my family would probably be more classed as that.
Yeah.
And then there's spiritualists who could. That's the thing. When you go to the SNU churches, you could see a Buddhist there, you could see a Catholic there. They tend to kind of attract people who do or don't have another religion, but the Christian ones are really all about Jesus.
So kind of like almost secular kind of, but they have the spiritualist church theology, but as far as adhering to any other religion,
although some of the ones I went to did break the rules there, because my local one used to make everyone say the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
which I wouldn't even say. And I actually, at a meeting once, questioned why we were saying it.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of support. But we were basically told because the old people like it.
Well, it's what I can't make out, because the ones who call themselves kind of Christian spiritualists, I mean, I think the Bible's pretty forthright about
Yeah.
what it's satanic, basically contacting the dead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally think you can be both, but that's just my view.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done some research.
Fucking hell.
I know. Deuteronomy 18:10 apparently expressly forbids contact with the dead,
Yeah.
and kind of all sorts of other things as well.
See, my view on Christian spiritualism is that, I would say my nan would have been more in that group, and she come to it in the sort of 50s, I think, when everything was Christian. So you had this interest, but you couldn't totally break away from the Bible. So they would adjust the Bible to suit their needs and still say they were a Christian. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I've observed as well with a lot of mediums. They incorporate kind of loose bits of Christianity because, well, let's be honest, kind of Britain and America still have a kind of a core Christian kind of, well, Christianity is still the dominant religion in the UK.
Most people would just write their Church of England without even really thinking about religion. It's just what you're told when you're at school. What's my religion? C of E.
And I think as well, a lot of mediums incorporate the kind of Christian aspect into what they do because it kind of marks them out as different. What they do is different from the occult, when really it's...
Also, you're told to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to talk about that yet.
We are, really, because...
I mean, I can sort of say, like, I was told if I went to a Christian spiritualist place as a medium, I would be expected to mention Jesus like he was a real person.
Yeah.
And I found that even more offensive to go there, and it felt like I'd be mocking them.
You can't almost bullshitting them.
And I just refused.
Yeah, yeah.
And I fell out of favour. And so then that makes you think, if you really want to get somewhere, you have to just play by these rules.
Well, we're going to come on to that, really.
Yeah.
And that's, well, I mean, most mediums, especially famous mediums, have gone through the spiritualist church system. I must have done at some point in their careers.
Some haven't, but a lot have.
I'd say a good 80% must have done. I mean, as far as I've observed, there's 3 stages at spiritualist churches. You attend as a parishioner first. Basically you rock up.
They're not really parishioners. I wouldn't really... Not at the SNU anyway. It's more attendees.
Yeah, kind of... Well, yeah, members or whatever. You go along as a member, kind of. Most of these churches run development circles.
Yeah, or they know of one, but a lot of them run them themselves.
Or someone who's a
part
of it.
But if you ask, they may say, "Oh, so and so over there has one," or so. It's the place to go if you want to get involved with that kind of thing.
If you think you've got kind of psychic skills,
or even if you don't, even if you're just interested to find out what it's all about, you can find one. And I mean, that's how I found myself in one. It's not that I particularly thought, "Oh, I could be on telly on a I just thought that'd be interesting," and I went along.
Give it a go. Yeah. So after you've been to kind of one of these development circles and you've kind of learnt a bit about what to do, you're probably then invited to kind of give a reading at the next meeting, or
some are,
yeah.
Like I kept getting asked, and it wasn't something I wanted to do, but other people never got asked.
Although I'm sceptical, I say, about psychic mediums, to keep an open mind, I attended one of your...
I think I had 2 actually.
2, I think I went to. Yeah. Kind of at the local spiritualist church, and I was probably unique in the audience there, where I was probably forearmed with what skeptics think of psychic mediums and how skeptics think mediums do this.
But then I would say a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people, but people like me went there with that mind as well.
Yeah.
Every week I was never like, "Oh, I'll just believe what you're showing me." Every week it was like, "Prove it."
No, but did you have kind of a list of like techniques that TV psychics used to try and spot?
Oh no, I don't. No, but I just meant in the sense that I'm skeptic. I don't just believe someone standing there is doing what they're doing unless they sort of prove it to me in some way.
When I went along, I thought, let's see if I can spot what I know and see if I, kind of any of this comes out. And, here's some examples of kind of how the techniques that skeptics say mediums use.
Okay.
Well, the first one's cold reading. We've mentioned that.
Yeah.
Which basically is taking educated guesses and focusing on what they get right and starting off as broad as possible, kind of using popular names and stuff like that until they connect with someone, and then it's kind of guessing from there. So, for example, if you're over 60, you probably have a parent in the spirit world, let's say, or dead.
Yeah.
So here's an example of cold reading, really. And in this one, it's John Edward and the Long Island Medium. So two Americans.
What's their name then?
Teresa Caputo, I think.
I was trying to catch you out.
Yeah, I knew you were. Well,
you goaded me into that.
Yeah,
you did. You led me into it.
Well, here's them doing what I think of as classic cold reading. How they make the connection.
Who is the MR name? Mark, Mary, Marie. They don't have to be past. They could be here in the physical world.
Either Maureen, Marianne. There's an M name. Where's the M connection to you?
She departed of Alzheimer's or some type of dementia or something of the brain, and that you had to make choices and decisions connected to her departure.
Did anybody have either a brain tumor, brain aneurysm, or a cerebral hemorrhage? Not connected to you. Somebody behind you had that.
So that's just guessing, isn't it? Really,
pretty much, yeah.
I mean, in the English-speaking world, there are 4 names that are more popular than others, shall we say? So,
do you know what they are?
I know what the letters start with. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So if it's a male, it's a J. So you've got
Okay.
your Johns, Jonathans, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Jacobs, Jamie.
Yeah, loads. Low. You're gonna hit one.
Yeah.
Basically. And for females, it's M.
Mary, Marianne,
Yeah,
Margaret.
Yeah, as those
Molly.
two. Yeah. So Marge, everything. You know what I mean? So that's you never have a medium say, I'm thinking of a name. It begins with M. Mary, no, Maximilian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never a really specific.
Another good
old
one,
Christian name.
when they're cold reading, another good one is when someone says no, they say, I think I'm getting crossed wires here. Maybe it's for the person next to you. I'm not sure.
Well, that was John Edwin in the person behind you.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
They've had a brain injury.
Yeah, they do that a lot. Oh, I'm getting these crossed wires. I can't work it out.
I mean, in this day and age, which you probably get more of, is hot reading.
Hot reading.
Hot reading. And that's basically, say you're doing a reading for someone, you Google them.
Have a look at their Facebook.
Yeah, you stalk their Facebook, go on Ancestry, see who's dead, you know what I mean?
See, I wouldn't say I'd known anyone who'd done that, personally.
Yeah.
But I know it exists.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's prevalent among TV mediums.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Which we get on to,
Yeah.
but here's a classic example of hot reading.
Earlier, I invited 3 mediums to a one-time Victorian chocolate factory, where they all channeled the name George, an evil fat man who was the factory's first manager.
She's given me the name of George.
And I got the name George.
George.
It was George. Yeah.
The only trouble is that George is part of a made-up story that I planted on the chocolate factory website a week ago.
I remember that show.
Yeah. So I mean that is classic, isn't it? Really, you've been caught bang to rights.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, even Desi wasn't kind of a bit into that.
Poor Desi.
And
I think he's gone off for a fag or something, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's gone for a slash.
Yeah.
He's knocking on.
Maybe him and Sam are double Dutch ruddering.
Yeah, definitely not, because she's very much alive and very much litigious. So
no, Sam.
Oh, I thought he meant Sally.
No. His little friend Sam.
Oh, the Egyptian who speaks in a Liverpudlian accent.
Yeah.
Oh, him. Yeah. Right. Well, I say the third example you don't really see that much of, but some people are pretty much blatant with it. It's called warm reading, and this is a kind of mixture of cold and hot reading.
Who'd have thought it?
Who would have thought? Yeah. A classic example of a clip I've got here is of psychic quotes Sally Morgan. Now she does a stage show where she gets the audience members to put a photo into a box, and that's the person they want to contact. So
she's got a bit of a head start.
I was like I say, that's a warm read because you've got a head start and a cold read. I've got to guess a name from pick a name in a hat type thing.
Yeah. Well,
she kind of, even when you can warm read, you fuck up sometimes.
It's going to happen.
So this is what Sally did on one of her shows. I mean, she's got this clip on YouTube. It's called "Not So Epic Fail," and well, you judge for yourself.
I don't know who put this lovely picture in here. You're upstairs. Hello, darling. Hello, is this something called the barn? Is his name Bernard or Barnard?
No.
Why would he say that?
That's our nan.
Oh, your nan? Sorry. Oh, bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
Oh no, the whole mumsy spiel bit gets
like...
on. Oh, just makes me slightly wretched.
I'm really disarming you with my little accent.
Yeah, until I get to my solicitors.
Bless ya.
Like I say, she's called this video on YouTube "Not So Epic Fail" because the two people who she got their name mixed up with her granddad.
Yeah.
They said, well, the rest of what she said was spot on. Apart from the gender, it was all good.
Is their name called Bernard?
No, apparently not.
Bernadette? If she was called Bernadette, I'd give it to her.
See, Sally should have thought on her feet there and kind of turn it around into. She said it's not an epic fail, but apparently she's turned the comments off on this YouTube clip. So
bless her.
Obviously, oh bless.
Oh bless.
Obviously, there was too many people saying, you're full of shit on
You're
this.
full of shit, you old bag.
Which we don't think that. We think Sally's
that.
completely bona fide.
Yeah.
And when I went to your the meetings at your spiritualist church, the local one, I can remember one night when I went there were 6 people doing readings at the front.
Yeah.
And
which would have been not trained mediums. They were people from the development circle.
Yeah. Oh no, they weren't. I knew from when they were brought on that these weren't like guest ones, pros that had come along to do. They were just people who were part.
And I'm pretty sure it was free to get in as well. That time.
No, it was just a standard meeting, I'd say. You know what I mean? Kind of, where people from the development circles were doing readings for people. And what was startling about the 6 people is they literally all started and did things exactly the same.
Yeah, because they train you.
Unless you do it that way, you're not going to be put up in front of people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, out of the 6 people, there was, I'd say, one who was a hustler completely. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
And it was John Edward blatant, you know what I mean?
You're going to have a baby. Oh, there's new shoes coming. Oh.
Yeah, to someone who's obviously pregnant. It's that kind of level. Yeah. There was one person who was making, it was still, in my view, cold reading, but they were good at what they did.
Yeah.
And they seemed very organic about what they did. It wasn't forced.
Yeah.
It wasn't kind of like eyeing someone up thinking, I've got to really think this through. They could do it. You know what I mean? Kind of. So, and that I wouldn't say it was mega impressive, but that was a cut above the rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was definitely different levels.
Yeah, and there was probably 2 where they were a bit crap, I'll be honest, and it was mostly total misses.
I didn't even get up.
Yeah.
The problem with that kind of thing is they made me get up there and sit there, and they kind of push you into doing stuff that you don't want to do. I was just interested in going once a week to try out these, one week we'd be reading tea leaves, another week we'd be trying something else, and I found that an interesting way to spend my time, but not to stand up in front of people being disingenuous about getting new shoes and things.
One thing as well that kind of always had at the back of my mind with psychics like this is, if you have generally got a gift to do this, surely you'd develop your own style. You wouldn't need to rely on the kind of
exactly
the kind of cold reading technique of whether you think it's cold reading or not. Those type of, 'cause they all do it.
I mean, all I can say from my experience is I was never interested in standing up there being a John Edwards or a Derek Acora.
Yeah.
I did mine with the written word, and I was very happy to sit in the background and just hand things to people.
And I'm sure that's why, kind of, you wouldn't have kind of progressed much further on this circuit, because the trouble is, when you do the standard type reading, you get hits and misses. The better ones get more hits, the not so good ones don't make any kind of hits.
Yeah.
But say you were doing like kind of spiritual writing, writing poems for people who you thought they should go to in the audience.
Yeah, I didn't read. I mean, I didn't even want to stand up and read them out. I felt they were personal.
Yeah.
I would just zone in and find a person I thought it was for, and I would give them the poem.
But when you relate this to kind of how mediums work, and I thought about this while writing this podcast, really, is where they have lots of little hits and misses, and you hope that the hits outweigh the misses, really. The way you were doing things, it was one big hit or miss.
Exactly.
There was it was binary. Either the person took the right and went, I recognise what you're trying to say, I know who it's about, or it's like, this is a complete load of shite and your whole evening's been a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I never had that response.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure people might.
Once or twice people were like, all right, okay. And then other times I had people cry. So
yeah,
it's very different. But there are people who stand at the front and just yell out stuff until someone goes, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's kind of...
I thought that was just cheating a bit.
Yeah. But also as well, where it's a technique that deviates from the norm, if you try and frame it in a kind of entertainment sense, it probably isn't that great.
No. I mean, they do also have spiritual artists as well as... they're actually more common than people doing spiritual writing. But again, they suffer with this problem of how do you put a spiritual artist in front of a group of 20, 30 people and expect them to be entertained for an hour when the person's just drawing. So they normally work in tandem with someone who does the showmanship side.
Yeah.
And you are, once you get successful at a different type of gift, they'll celebrate you everywhere.
Yeah.
That was my experience. But if you want to do your own thing and you push against what they're trying to make you do, you're kind of on the outs.
Become the next Derek, yeah.
So a lot of people get pushed into that situation where they get up there and they do stuff and then they get used to it. But it wasn't how they started out.
Yeah.
And then you have people who that's what they want to do.
So, what I want to know is that the way you did things, Derek?
Desi?
Derek? Oh no, I think he's gone.
Because you can't see me. You can't hear me. It doesn't mean to say I'm not there.
Oh, I feel strangely comforted hearing that.
Oh yeah, I thought he'd fucked off. He had enough of this, but
I thought he's obviously enjoying it.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss how, the opportunities for psychic mediums have blossomed over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 90s, there was, only a few psychic mediums on TV, really.
Yeah, it wasn't really as well known. The whole movement wasn't as well known back then.
No, it was kind of definitely a fringe thing. And also, in TV terms, the programmes that were on were very much of the medium doing their stage show, but for a TV audience there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was really strange because back then, I would say the 80s and the 90s, I was brought up being told just don't mention it.
Yeah, it was kind of towards the end of the 90s. It was kind of breaking through a bit into the mainstream.
But it was becoming like a thing that people weren't so scared of.
Of mentioning they're into spiritualism.
I mean, I remember my nan telling me when she was in the 50s and 60s starting out, there'd be Christians queuing outside, throwing things at them, calling them devil worshippers, and
really,
yeah, and that was in this country, yeah.
So but by the time you got to the 90s, that was really, I'd say, really changing.
Yeah.
Then,
But in the 80s, it was drummed into me. We don't talk about this unless we're with someone who's a member or
Yeah.
Not like a cult, but, you know, if someone's genuinely interested, talk about it. But in general, just keep quiet. So it's kind of strange for me to be doing this, really.
Yeah. Time we got to the noughties is when things really started to change. And this is where I've got to mention the British TV show Most Haunted, where Derek really made his name. I mean, he was doing shows before them, but really this is what propelled.
It made him, I think.
I guess Desi.
It made him and broke him.
Yeah, well, yeah, it did. Yeah.
Poor Desi.
Well, the thing is, you know, Most Haunted was the kind of template of all the kind of ghost hunter programs in this country and America that followed, really.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
And of course, all those shows need a psychic medium to channel the ghost of whoever is at the location. You know?
Yeah, whoever the producer tells them is that.
So the opportunities for psychic mediums on TV kind of exponentially grew.
Yeah, if you had a good personality, you had a chance of getting on TV.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the when it started out. You know, kind of they were very much of the old school, but you could see the progression through the noughties of how the mediums changed. In my brief career as a writer, I was a writer of a one-hit wonder book, shall we say?
Didn't you write two?
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, there was two.
There was. Christ, I even forgot the other one. It was that bad. But anyway, the first one was a hit, which is great. And during that time, I met a lot of TV producers.
Oh, God. How did you not self-harm?
All I can say is, to say they were a complete pack of jackals would be an insult to jackals. You know? They were scum, basically.
Yeah. What's that? You dying? Get on the cameras on.
Yeah. Close up of the crying. Yeah, those kind of type.
I mean,
people.
I can't watch a chat show without watching them, waiting for the close-up on the tears that they always do.
Oh yeah. I mean, I did a multimedia technology degree, and we did a whole section on doing interviews and, you know, kind of stuff like that. And the bloke who was teaching us was from the local news station, and he was like, you know, if you can get them to cry, then you can do the close-up.
Oh, the money shots.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure any kind of psychic medium who gets involved with TV people, they won't be told to bullshit it out, but basically they will. They'd be very much given the instructions that you've got to come up with the goods during the shooting schedule, else you're sacked.
Yeah. And whether you believe or you don't believe, I think everyone could agree that the spirit world or whatever you believe, it's not going to run on a TV schedule.
No. Well, I mean, take the spiritualist church that I went along to that time. You know, the two people there said, you know, I'm just not getting anything.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, I've been there and I've seen a paid medium turn up and they've had to say, I'm really sorry, I'm just not getting anything.
Yeah.
And that wasn't too bad at R1. People weren't worried because someone else would jump up and have a go. But if you're on telly,
that's just
that ain't gonna fly.
No, that's just not happening. I mean, if you're shooting a ghost hunter program and you say, you know, you're meant to channel the person you've obviously hot read before, you know what I mean, kind of, and you get nothing. You know, you can just picture that, you know, the producer's cold, dead, shark eyes glaze over, and, you know, before you know it, you're picking up your last check.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and I think it's worth saying at this point as well that by the time you get to the point where you're on telly, there have been events that you've built up to get to that point. So some of the events are going to have more and more people, and the pressure is more and more and more to perform.
Yeah.
So one night, you might make a slight concession in your morals, let's say. Or not maybe morals, but a slight concession in what you would normally do.
Integrity,
that was what I was looking for. That's right. Slight concession in your integrity, and it'll pay off. Yeah. And then the next time you're under pressure, you'll immediately go, that worked.
You're full back, yeah.
So by the time you get to these cold, dead-eyed TV producers, you're already slightly making concessions anyway. And
I think you're pretty much halfway down the road of completely doing it.
And you, at this point as well, I think it's worth saying that a lot of these people have gone all in at this point. This is all they've got, so it has to work.
I think they've gone in probably way before that.
So, you know, if they have to pretend a trumpet's waving around the room, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no other choice.
Yeah, because if it's putting food on the table, then you've got to come up with the goods.
I mean, by the point you leave doing the local circuit and you move up to like a bigger circuit, by the time you're on telly,
you're on your own shows, even I'd say your own stage shows. You wouldn't
be holding a day job.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're all in.
Yeah, I mean, through the 90s, you could see how these ghost hunter shows kind of progressed with their mediums, where, say, like the early days of Most Haunted.
Yeah, he was semi-believable in the early days.
Well, because back in the early days of those shows, the mediums were very much following the traditional kind of, I'm getting the name of whatever, and by, say, 2003 to 2005-ish, that wasn't cutting it anymore. No. You know what I mean?
But I think as well, what you have to remember is people were watching every week, and people get bored. People want to see something different.
Yeah.
So the first few years, they could get away with a pebble rolling down a thing and going, "Oh, I wonder what that was." But of course, at some point, you're going to have to ramp that up.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the audience gets bored, the producers, could lose their job. So.
And that's when they say, "Look, you're going to get like you're in a trance, and you're going to get possessed."
Well, that's it. That's what happened during that time. We went from the traditional kind of psychic reading to trance mediumship.
Yeah. Which, if you've ever seen trance mediumship, which I have a few times.
I've only seen it on the TV. I'd love to see it like live at a show.
Well, I actually saw a woman came to my development circle and did it just for us.
Wow.
And I have to say, it was really strange. Like, I don't know if I believed it. I don't know what I thought. But, yeah, it was really bizarre. Like, I've never experienced that before. I've seen someone else do it and just thought, what load of ball bags. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing with the whole TV thing, kind of when our esteemed kind of guest started trance mediumship, it was good for the people who believed.
Yeah.
And it's good for people like me who, let's be honest, were firmly in the chuckle demographic of the audience. And Tommy got to kind of...
Oh, no, that's what I was going to say. Sorry. Yeah. The lady I saw, it worked up quite a bit of time for her to get into this trance state.
Not snap your fingers and she's off.
Yeah, like with Desi, like a spirit would jump into him. That's not even how it works.
Yeah, well...
Whether you believe or not, that is just not how it's possible.
Well, I mean, Tommy got to kind of like... I don't know when Desi left.
That's a fail. Research fail.
I think it was like 2003 or 4.
I think it's just not going to cut it.
It was very early. But anyway... Tommy got to the end of his career with Most Haunted. Let's be honest, he was a star of the show after this.
I know the name Robert walks round, and I know Mary does, but there's this peace and calm, spiritual activity there with... You all right? All right. What is it, Barry? You all right? Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
It's an all-time classic, really.
It is.
And that's what made him the star of the show, and that's where his downfall began.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, whatever you think about what he was doing on the show, I don't think he was treated very nicely.
Yeah, I mean,
you could argue that they were all in on this game. They all knew what they were doing.
Oh, they all did. They all absolutely did.
And then, at the last minute, because he didn't play ball with something or they fell out, they just goonered him.
Yeah, they just basically
ruined him.
They gave him a little trip step and off he went. Yeah.
And I think that's pretty disgusting.
Well, I mean, Tommy...
Coming from the person who's channeling his dead spirit, I think that's disgusting.
Well, I mean... Tommy got to like 2005-06, that's when the TV producers wanted more hardcore, really.
It was every week, wasn't it, by that point? He was possessed.
Yeah, but also kind of the format of the Ghost Hunter show was getting a bit long in the tooth, so we needed other spin-off type shows of, let's go and find out what serial murderers are doing and stuff, like from the dead and all that sort of stuff. And one of the things that emerged, which TV producers loved, I'm sure, because it was more salacious, shall we say.
Oh, they love anything salacious. They'll be on that like
psychic detectives.
Fly on shit.
Psychic detectives solving crimes, or murders,
It's going to go great,
by guessing, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I can remember watching one TV show in this country. I can't remember the name of it. It might even be called Psychic Detectives, who knows. But I think it had the bad boy.
Ian Norman?
Yeah, the lawman.
He's not a bad boy anymore, though, is he? He's all country gentleman.
No, he's like kind of, Victorian gent fop.
I preferred the bad boy era.
I preferred the Matrix era.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
You wouldn't, like, if you saw him, you'd go, oh, that's Ian Lawman, the bad boy of the psychic world. And now you see him and you go, middle-aged gentleman.
Looks like a hipster from Hastings Old Town.
It does, actually. Yeah. It looks a bit like you'd love to look if I let
had
you.
the money.
Yeah.
The show I can remember seeing, I think they were doing some, I think it was an historical case, like, I wouldn't say Jack the Ripper, but it was something like that, where all the protagonists, the person who was murdered, the murderer, they're all long dead by 100 years.
So no one can question it, yeah.
And no one can sue, of course.
Yeah.
But, in terms of what harm that could do now, probably not a great deal. You know what I mean? It's a bit of history.
I'd say that's a bit of history and fun.
Bit of history and fun, yeah, I'd say. But, of course, then we get to the things where, especially American shows, where kids who have been missing, and are still missing, which, a lot of the time they're going to turn up dead, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You have mediums being asked what's happened to their children, and these people are very much alive, their parents are alive.
Well, I've actually had experience of that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Someone came to the development group. We didn't see them, but they left a photo of someone who'd gone missing.
Right.
And they wanted us, when we were meditating, to see if we got any images. They were desperate.
Yeah.
So we all had a go, and all I saw was a train journey, like someone, like I was looking out of a train, and the day was really sunny, and I was like feeling like, oh, weight's off, I'm just going to fuck off and disappear.
Yeah.
And loads of other people were like, oh, I think he's dead. And I'm thinking, why do you leap straight to that conclusion?
Well, because, I think most detectives, police detectives will tell you that if a kid's not found in X amount of hours...
But it wasn't a kid, it was an adult.
Yeah, but
I just thought, it was strange. That people jumped to that, oh, they're definitely dead.
Because, let's be honest, that might be, in terms of probability, that could be easily what's happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you err on the side of caution.
People are so desperate when things like that happen that they will come and ask for help like that.
Yeah, that's where...
And you have to be very careful about what you give out.
Well...
I mean, I'm fairly sure that the ones that were saying they thought he was dead, that wasn't going to be relayed back to the people at all.
Yeah, well, why else would they have come there? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I
didn't really like it, but I thought they're desperate, okay,
Well, probably the worst case of this I found while researching this show was the case of Amanda Berry. She's an American teenager who was kidnapped and, as a child really, and kept in captivity for 10 years.
Yeah, I think she was about 15 when she was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Along with 2 other women.
Yeah. And
Cleveland something?
I don't know. But
that's another fail.
Yeah, it is really, yeah.
I can see his face actually. How weird's that? But I can't think of his name.
Yeah. I mean, while in captivity, she used to watch a psychic called Sylvia Brown on the Montel Williams show.
Yeah, I remember her.
So yeah. And this is what happened.
I would watch her every time she was on Montel, and I'd say, I wish my mom would go on there. And then she could tell my mom that I was alive and that I'm okay.
But Sylvia Brown breaks Luana's hope.
I just hate that she's not alive, honey.
I just broke down crying because I couldn't believe she said that. And then my mom broke down crying, so that hurt even worse.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
So,
really.
I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that, does it really?
No.
Watching as your mum's told you're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, oh dear.
What's that going to do for your will?
Well, this brings us really neatly round to our honoured guest,
Desi.
Derek, because he's no stranger to, I didn't know this apparently, to this kind of controversy, really.
Oh, well, he's got so many, bless him.
Well, yeah, I mean, in 2012, Desi said that Madeleine McCann was dead and had been in the spirit world for some time.
To be fair, though, we don't know if he's right there or not.
It could be, but the fact is, he doesn't know.
He thinks he does.
Yeah, but really, it's
not good and it's not nice.
Yeah, I know. Look, he's sorry for it now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. There was quite a big backlash against all that. You know what he said about this. Because it was a media sensation, the whole Madeleine McCann case.
Yeah.
And
hold on, when did he? Oh, in 2012. When did she go missing?
I think it's a few years earlier, but
oh right, yeah.
I think there was another kind of resurgence of the case and investigating it around
it does
that
pop
time.
up now and then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think to try and court some publicity, he may have come up with this.
Yeah, because they say no publicity is bad publicity, don't
and
they?
he can't see me if I'm wrong in it. Being
Yeah.
dead. So, there was quite a big backlash, and he kind of retracted it all.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a psychic medium, you know that is the case. You wouldn't, would you?
Well, not if you really believed what you were saying, no. But I mean, this is a man who thought he could talk to Michael Jackson in the spirit world.
If you haven't seen that on YouTube, it is, I'd say, by far Derek Akora's shining moments.
Yeah, it's definitely one of his finest.
It's toe
moments.
curlingly bad.
Yeah,
toe curling. Well, given Desi's massive fuck up about Madeleine McCann,
yeah,
other mediums have kind of learnt from his mistake, really, and now know that it's career suicide to, tell grieving parents kids are dead. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and to be honest, everything that I was taught was, even if you had that message, you could get it wrong. Don't give that message.
Yeah, well, that may be one kind of get out of jail kind of way of doing it, but Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, she said in the show that she basically won't, kind of do stuff like this, and where, like, someone, if you're channeling someone who's been murdered, do they know their murderer and stuff like?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like, say you were murdered and you knew your murderer. If you were in touch with a psychic medium, you could say to them, "I was murdered by." Yeah. If the case is unsolved.
But what if you don't remember your murder?
Well, then that's a different case. But if you do,
I'm sure you could say it was Bob down at number 2, and he got pissed off because I played some music too loud.
Well, she's learned her lesson, and Teresa Caputo's not touching that shit with a barge pole. This is what she said on the show, and the ball's on this, I tell you.
So when a tragedy happens, let's say a murder, if somebody comes to a loved one and the spirit of the person who was murdered is there, could that spirit potentially tell you who did it?
They will acknowledge maybe the relationship, but never will call someone out on a name.
Why is that?
My thing, how I use my gift, is I only want messages that are going to help someone through the healing process.
That's the get out of jail, isn't it?
She's one clever cookie.
Yeah, she's not touching that shit.
She's right, though.
Yeah, because, you could land someone in jail for
but you
the
see,
rest
for
of their
me,
lives.
That's another thing where TV pushes you in a direction, because if you're in the local church, they will tell you, do not give that kind of message.
Yeah, but...
And there are certain things as well where they try and... For most people in England, we've got a thing called tact, and we use this tact for our... to soften a blow.
Yeah.
And they tell you, if you get a difficult message, be tactful, but don't give it as blunt. Don't say they're dead or they're...
But there's a big kind of jeopardy thing here. If you say you found out who murdered someone by psychic means, and you get it wrong, and it's fed to the police, they could arrest someone for murdering someone completely on false protection.
I don't think the police would do that, though, would they?
No, but I mean, that's the whole problem with it, isn't it? Really,
I think, especially nowadays, the police are very sceptical about psychics helping them. But there was a while there where they kind of explored it.
Late 90s,
yeah.
They kind of started getting psychics on missing cases and stuff.
Yeah, and they explored it, and I think it was a good thing to do, to see if it did anything. But I don't think it did. So. The majority of times it didn't. Even when they were right, you can only, with a lot of these messages, you can only tell something relates once you know what the case was.
Yeah.
So they might say, "Oh, there's a wall with a wave painted on it." That means nothing, but they might find the victim in front of a wall with a wave painted on it later on.
Yeah.
It's not going to help you find them.
No, that's the whole point, is to find them, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's just a bit of a waste of time all round.
Yeah, it's useless. It's clutching at straws.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it is. And I think that's brings us to the end of this section, really, about how basically mediums probably start off with the best intentions, really.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from my experience, everyone that I met on the first levels all went for the right reasons.
Yeah. And really, time they go through the system, the spiritualist church system, and start, let's say, on the process of becoming a professional medium and making money out of it, you're going to become corrupted along the line.
Well, you have to, because you have an audience and people pay money to be there, and people are not going to... I mean, you know, I saw a guy one time who was sitting in a box pretending that he was pulling faces of being someone that, you know, dead people.
Like trance mediumship, but kind of...
Well, no, it's more like using ectoplasm in front... It's what the thing is meant to be, is use ectoplasm in front of your face to kind of transform your face into the face of someone who's dead. Now, I admit, right, this sounded like complete shit to me.
Sounds like...
But, of course, if you have a chance to go and see this...
Well, you're going to, aren't you? I would. Yeah,
I mean, I can't remember why you didn't go, but I went there anyway. And it was like... I didn't see any ectoplasm. He was just pulling faces. And, like, at the end, there was a mixture of people like me who were going, well, that's fucking bullshit. That was a £5 I've just wasted on an hour and a half of my fucking time. And people going, oh, it's amazing. And then by the end of the week, more people who were saying it was amazing were asking for their money back and stuff, which I didn't even do, because I was like, well, I paid my money, and I was mildly entertained because it was so shit. But
well,
you know,
that's what I say. If it's a £5 worth of fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was people's perceptions. They want to believe sometimes so much that.
And I say, kind of that bleeds over from the whole ufology type thing. You know, if you want to believe it's happening so badly, but really. You're just gullible and you've been hoodwinked.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
So, well, it wouldn't be a show without a... And finally...
No.
This story is one... The news one... Well, I've left the best till last week. Don't read it.
Sorry.
Because if you read it, you're going to spoil the joke. The headline reads, Woman seeking expert advice on old bottle stopper, mortified to learn what it is. A churchgoer who sought help to identify what she believed to be a vintage bottle stopper was left saying there isn't enough soap after being told exactly what it was.
What was it then?
Come on to this.
I'm not looking at the notes because I'm not allowed.
A woman known only as Jane posted images of the unknown item to a glass collector Facebook group, asking for help. But after it was discovered washed up in a garden following a heavy storm. Now, I'll describe the shape of it to you.
I have an idea already, but tell me the shape, yeah.
It was 4.5 inches tall.
Right.
1.5 inches diameter at the fat part.
Right.
And 1.75 at the base. Now, in the words of...
Can I make a guess?
TV entertainer Rolf Harris, have you guessed what it is yet?
I'm going to make a two-prong guess.
Go on then.
It's either a dildo or a butt plug.
Well, there's one Facebook commenter said, it is a stopper, all right, but not for a bottle.
I mean, that would be quite heavy, so it must have been a very heavy storm to blow that in someone's garden.
Oh, yeah, someone just threw it over a fence for
Could have done.
I wish she was a churchgoer. I mean, that's the kind of thing I'd do.
That would have been right up my street.
Oh, dear. So, yeah, that's the story of the week, I think. The church-going lady who found a butt plug in her back garden.
My mum's a church-going lady. I mean, she doesn't have a garden anymore, but if she did, I would definitely want to go and throw a butt plug in it right now.
And that's it for this episode. If you like the show, please leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app. It really helps us to not piss into the wind when it comes to doing this.
Yeah, I mean, we do it anyway because we enjoy doing it.
We love doing it, yeah.
It would really help us out if you drop us a review.
Yeah. Check out our Facebook page where we post more kind of Fortean news stories and stuff that amuses us.
Yep.
And if you have a suggestion for a show or just want to get in touch to tell us how crap we are and how our mics are distorting and we really should get a bit more professional.
If on the very long shot anyone out there is part of some interesting weird community and they want to be a guest, let us know. I'm not anticipating it, but
no,
if there's someone out there who believes that the spaghetti monster's real or something, I want to talk to her.
Yeah. Well, please visit our website at edgeofbelief.com and click on the contact link. And I think that does it for today.
Oh, we need to thank Desi.
Oh, yeah.
Mary loves Dick.
No, not
Mary loves Dick.
Desi!
Mary loves Dick.
Yeah, Desi. I think Desi's broken.
I think he's gone into a loop.
Mary loves Dick.
Desi, go to the light.
Mary loves Dick.
Yeah.
Go to the light.
Go to the light. And I think that's it. And cue Charlie.
Bye-bye.
Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
Absolutely no ET craft, ET technology, anything like that at Area 51. This is why S4 was made.
People can see it's happening. I mean, the police state, the Orwellian state, is moving in so fast.
I can lead you into that level above human. That can't happen unless you leave the human world that you're in and come and follow me.
You've got it stuck in your brain that I murdered somebody. What do you want to call me a murderer for? I've never killed anyone. I don't need to kill anyone. I think it.